It really is just the perfect storm of a randomized game.
All right, so it looks like we are finally getting underway just shortly. So hold on to your hats, everybody, because we are going into Hyrule for
This
a
chest is a secret.
mixed-up
This chest is
adventure.
a secret to everybody. Well, Blue Mail's no secret.
Blue Mail's just pretty sweet.
Yeah, that now if one of the weaker weapons shows up from Uncle, then they can take literally twice as many hits while passing through escape, and that makes things quite a bit safer. Like, I've seen some pretty tough times with bombs and Burna, just a couple small bumps.
All right, and today's weapon is the Cane of Samaria.
Alright, not the best damage, but I mean, it's a mobile shield if you choose to use it like that. And even if not, you have 16 shots, and there's the power glove, so even if bombs don't turn up, going back to this escape test is not going to take very long.
It is, in fact, so bad, and you know what? I might not even farm bombs if I got the power glove. Just be like, look, I'll just come back.
I think I would still check the snake room and kill a couple guards along the way, but I would not go anywhere near as far out of the way.
Right. I wouldn't like hardcore farm is what I mean. Definitely kill some convenient things. Like pick up the heart pot on the way down here, throw it at the blue guard. Everybody does that.
So showing both block detonations and some mobile shielding there. Can't open the door while holding a Samaria block for some reason, but both runners get through the first key guard no problem.
And 300 rupees in that first chest. This game starting off pretty good. And here I go, HiDefLoMein, proving me wrong by not picking up that pot and killing the guard.
Yeah, he's gonna save a tiny bit of time because Maligord didn't get a bomb there either. So green guard is just 2 hits here. Blue is another 3. Pretty much any
Silver
weapon.
arrows?
Wow!
Goodness!
Yeah, with pretty much any weapon, that second blue key guard is just easier than the first one.
Yeah, basically. You're in a much more confined space, so it's just easier to land blows.
And so down to the ball and chain guard who does 2 pot tosses. I have seen a Samaria right here that's actually faster. Just a couple of quick detonations and then letting the block do the rest. So HiDef going for a hybrid strat. And the runners pick up the big key at about the same time.
Alright, and the small key is in Zelda's cell, because, you gotta have a small key to get out of here some way. HiDef having a little trouble getting out of that staircase. Sometimes staircases can be jerks.
Yeah, there's a lot of things in Link to the Past that are programmed in a bit strange ways. Partially due to the game being rough, partially due to SNES coding limitations, but a decent part of playing this game well is just knowing what weirdness can happen and how to play around it.
Yeah, these one staircase in Swamp Palace comes to mind.
Yeah, there is a way to avoid being sent down instantly, but it's very specific.
And I think it requires having the boots.
I see Math Girl in the chat asking if the Zelda's test being a key can have a soft lock. In open mode, yes it could, but this is standard. You need that every single key to get through the dark sewers, so it can be literally anywhere here.
Right. If this were open mode, there would not be a key in that chest. But in standard, you can have a key in any of the first 4 locations.
Yeah, interestingly, I think it should be allowed there in open mode just because you would then just lock the one key.
Well, the
It would
issue
be
is you
the
could pick up the
boomerang
key.
chest that you wouldn't have it.
Well, the thing is, you could pick up the key from the first guard and
Yeah.
take it to the back, and then you would be missing the boomerang chest as well.
This is true. I had not considered that.
Yeah, so that is why that happens. It's silly, and why would you ever do that? But it happens.
So both runners get hit a couple times by the snakes trying to farm a bomb. No bombs drop. And just 10 arrows from the Dark Cross chest. So unless a bomb drops right about in one of these next 2 or 3 rooms, we won't be seeing the bombable wall chests until much later.
So if I really want to farm bombs, one of the places I'll go is the room just to the right of where HiDefLoMein is, because there's actually a very large contingent of rats just kind of on the top that you never see.
Huh.
Because why would you ever go there?
Yeah.
But
So they both really want this bomb.
HiDef getting the key. The rat, of course, back here is what we call what I call the true final boss of Escape. Because it can troll people harder than the rest of the things in this place, especially in randomized swords mode.
Yeah, so Maligord leaving without the bomb. HiDef going to be following a little bit behind. So we'll probably see them come back here a little bit after Kakariko. There's a red mail already? Like, I don't even care that they have 3 hearts. They are set.
So red mail, silver arrows. I mean, when are the trolls coming? Because it's got to be coming soon.
I mean, there hasn't really been any progression yet. But red mail, can you really mind finding red mail less than 7 minutes in?
It seems pretty legit.
And Maligord gets a bomb drop from the pickle and more bombs from the tree just to mock him.
Alright, so tier 2 tree pull is bombs, and Rupee Crab is hearts today.
Yeah, knowing that the tree pull is bombs can actually be kind of helpful in a few places, less so than health or magic, but it's not bad to know that.
Right. I think that was just a piece of heart.
It was?
Yeah.
In Maligord's position, I'd actually probably try and farm up for another known tier 2 pull just to get even more bombs, but you could very easily just decide to check tier 1 here.
Yeah, what I might have done in that case is just go back down to the tree, check tier 1 if I wanted to, and then if that didn't work, go to farm up tier 2 for this.
Yeah, that's another 300 rupees for Maligord, so that's Zora money, and Zora is actually open due to that glove.
Uh-oh. This is where the troll begins. Because we find the cape in the Lost Woods hideout. And we all know what that means. If you find the cape before anything else, it's an Agaseed. You just go.
If you find the cape before anything else, that's for Spike Cave.
Yeah. As you may expect, getting the Cane of Burna as your first weapon does increase the probability that Spike Cave is required ever so slightly.
It's because it's already immediately open as soon as you find the host of other items you need to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to the Kakariko checks. 5 chests in Blind's Hut. There's probably going to be some progression in here. But HiDef going to go buy bombs because he did not get that bomb drop or the tree pull.
Interesting. And there's our first sword.
Well then.
So that's the second piece of the Aga puzzle.
Still need to have the lamp turn up, and there's the mitts, so Pearl is now Dark World access.
Yeah, I don't mean you just go to Aga with the cape. That would be a little silly. What I meant was you just kind of get it in your mind that you're going to Aga and you just deal with it. You just look for those items, and as soon as you get them, you're like, all right, fine.
There's the
Speaking
lamp.
of which, there we go.
So
Aghanim is
Aghanim
now
is open,
in logic.
but there's so many
Now,
other
of course,
things. And that,
if we find Moon Pearl, we may not want to go there.
yeah. I mean, the only way I think Aghanim would be done at this point is if Moon Pearl is on or locked behind Pyramid, and the
Oh!
super convenient flute for high def.
There we go. Say hello to everybody's favorite swag duck right now.
And
Just
Maligord's gonna
zero
do the
warning.
same.
So basically, at this point, what I would end up doing is probably checking South Shore with the mini Moldorm Cave. And if I still didn't find Moon Pearl, I would probably just do Aga. Like, I'm that that pessimistic.
I'd probably throw in a Death Mountain check too, just because it is completely
Yeah.
open, not very slow at this point. Maybe Desert Ledge Nagina too, due to Mitts, or sorry, due to Flute.
Yeah,
I might even sequence break Super Bunny, or not Super Bunny, sorry. Use Super Bunny to sequence break the Meyer Shed if I really felt like it.
right. You would need the mirror for that.
No, you can just take damage recoil.
I have never seen that.
Yeah, it's
Now I
mirror the
know.
frame you enter, or be in knockback when you get knocked in, and that's obviously much easier than trying to get a frame perfect input.
Yeah, because there's a murder dactyl who's out for blood.
So nothing else turning up in Kakariko other than, the Ikonim access kit.
Now I know things that I did not know before.
I think that was just a heart piece on the library, and race game is half magic.
I mean, if you're not going for that, what's wrong with you?
I mean, that's a tough position for Maligord to be in, because that is the best of the nice-to-have items, but it's a long walk back around for it.
I believe you know I'm going to disagree with that assertion, but I would go for second best.
And what would the best nice-to-have item be?
Powder. Give me my powder, please. I don't have a problem.
Yeah, So, High Def's going to be following shortly behind. Maligord gets an early lead due to getting those bombs and not needing to buy them, but if he needs to buy bombs in a little bit, that might negate the lead. Yeah, and High Def also elects to just go around, check, and then go for that half magic anyway.
Somebody saying tempered sword, best nice to have. Okay.
I mean, there's an argument for silvers being the best nice to have, but just not having to worry about magic is incredible.
Yeah. And to be fair, in the more recent versions of the spoiler log, they used to tell you where 3 of the swords are in the playthrough. Now it's just 2. They just assume you can do Master Sword Ganon. I mean, the 4 swords are going to be available.
Yeah. Well, no, they'd all still be available, because higher difficulty still place 4 swords. It's just after you find whatever the highest level sword they allow you to have, it just turns into rupees.
Very true. All right, so Maligord is now heading into the mini Moldorm Cave. We're going to get 5 more items here.
Yeah, we'll see where the seed pushes them now.
More money. Okay, if you're not
More
going to
money.
Zora right now, something. Anyway. And
And
Bombos.
Italian. That's kind of convenient.
Hey, do you wanna like sequence break Ice Palace?
No, they don't even have hammer.
So?
And there was a discussion on the Discord a while back, actually, about if it was ever worth doing Pearl with Ice, and the conclusion that was reached was no, pretty much never, because Pearl's out there somewhere, and anything you're doing in Ice is not going to get you that Moon Pearl.
Yeah, it's basically never gonna be worth it. But it'd be funny.
Yeah. But for the memes, like, they could just fake Flipper and then do Dungeon Bunny Revival. and start clearing Ice Palace.
If Hammer happens to be in there, though, that would be
That's
the world's
fifth
best
final
play.
300 rupee.
Well, okay. This seed is telling them, here, do you need money? Have it. This is ridiculous. Also, we're getting that back of escape check finally.
Yeah, with the mitts, it's not very slow either. It gives a small shortcut there. So 3 chests, more money, the map, and air capacity. So nothing of value in escape here. So we're probably going to see Death Mountain at this point. It might see Desert Legend Agina. Oh, that's the first map check. All 1, 2, and 4 in the light world.
Yep,
And
so
Sahasra could
all
be the
completely
oh.
unspecial crystals.
It's always nice to see world crystals, as those dungeons are generally faster
That is generally the case.
and generally less annoying. And speaking of Eastern, HiDef selecting to head over there.
Yep. So if you're going to Sahasrara first, is it faster to go from 4 or 5?
I haven't actually timed it, but I suspect 5 is a little bit faster. Just because there is another set of stairs you can take.
Right. Now, I know if you're going to Eastern straight away, then it's definitely faster from 5. But I don't know about going to Sahasrara.
HiDef elect to find out what the green pendant is from Sahasrara himself. Probably
I actually see the text box. I don't know what's wrong with me.
There's the Master Sword.
Ah, Meyer. Looks like.
Green pendant, Meyer.
And they already have the flute. And the mitts.
That could be a very early play as well. So I think Ice Rod was seen on Death Mountain. We'll be able to confirm with HiDef's check here. Almost doesn't check, old man. Probably forgot he had the lamp.
Alright, so HiDef decided to check Sahasrara and then head to Death Mountain. It's an interesting play. Ah, so there's that other set of stairs there.
Yep.
I remember. I think my trepidation with going up those stairs is I can't ever dodge those mini Armoses. But apparently it's not that hard, and I should get good.
Yeah, with the flute, putting off Eastern until there's less places checked is probably smart. No, it doesn't take long to get back there. So Maligord finding 3 bombs in his Master Sword, and those 3 bombs are actually pretty handy.
Yep. I feel like Maligord will probably be checking Eastern here. Well, it looks like HiDefLoMein is going to head to Zora the old-fashioned way.
Well, slightly less old-fashioned. Get to pick up the Black Rock.
Yeah, that is true.
So it's not exactly the most fun thing to do a Zora check, where Zora is the only thing you're checking, but sometimes you just have to do it.
Alright, big 20 on the ledge, and that leaves Zora proper. It's going to be a ripoff, but I mean, it's not like they don't have the money to spend.
Maligord getting an 8 bomb drop, so he's got 10 bombs again, especially without having to buy any.
I mean, have you ever seen this much money this early in a seed?
No. Not even close. That's like 1,800 that have turned up already. They spent 100. And there's the first bottle from King Zora.
Interesting. So Zora with basically not a ripoff today. That's actually theoretical progression. As
Yeah,
you check out,
imagine Sick Kid having the Moon Pearl.
oh, that would be ridiculous.
Maligord just progressing through Eastern Palace. Finds the big key on the right side. I think he found an item in the first chest, so there's a chance he won't even need to go into the vanilla big key chest.
Yep, the perfect Eastern is still on the table. But now that we said something, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, we're gonna see map and compass if the game wants to troll.
Now, we'll only see one of them, and the other one will be in the big key chest.
Oh, there's Berna, so it's still alive.
Uh-oh. HiDef chose the wrong file.
Oops. There's a mirror.
And
That's...
it's a perfect Eastern.
Yeah! Map and compass in the big key chest and on Armos. So Maligord gets to go up to Tower of Hera now and clear it.
And the mirror gives Maligord the heads-up play of hitting up the checkerboard cave.
Oh yeah, he could also clear Desert now too.
Yeah.
Well, assuming it doesn't require boots.
There is that.
Desert
So
has so
we now
many
have the same
esoteric
sprite on both
requirements.
screens. What's going on?
Maligord's a bunny. No Moon Pearl. And Sick Kid just handing even more money.
Sick Kid with the 10% refund from that bottle purchase.
And so HiDef almost goes into the Dark World, but elects to do the Ledge and Agina check while he's here. We'll see if it has value on Maligord's screen.
Yeah, these runners are very much looking to avoid having to do the Aga play, and I feel like at this point I may eat my words as far as Aga goes.
Just a full heart, but that's not an unwelcome sight.
So I found out something about the Sage brothers here, right? So
Okay.
Agina and Sahasrara. They're actually named after the 6th and 7th Hindu chakras, Ajna and Sahasrara.
Learn something new every day.
So there we go.
So we'll see where HiDef elects to go at this point. He hasn't dipped Eastern, and looks like he's going to do that and get his Burna and Mirror out of there.
So nobody's done Hobo. Waterfall Cave isn't actually doable right now.
And you need either the Flippers, the Boots, or the Moon Pearl. Flippers for Intended Way, Pearl with the standard Water Walk, and Boots with another type of Water Walk. Yeah, Maligord. Let's get the +5 bomb capacity. The difference between 10 and 15 is just convenience, really. 10 is enough to manage, but it's just easier if you have more than that.
So Maligord now is taking the Eastern play. We've got the big key.
No tile worm yet, and we did see 20 rupees in the basement, so one item has turned up.
Yep, any more items, and then we will be golden as far as Hera. I'm staring at the tower with my face.
A lot of nice dungeons today. The dungeon layouts, like, they can be so nice or they can be so mean.
Yeah, the upside with dungeon layouts being mean is they're generally mean to both players. So at least you're not losing time.
Small key. Maligord electing not to go for the bomb jump and just do this the vanilla way. Probably the safe decision. If you fall going for that bomb jump, you fall 2 floors, and that does not feel good.
Yeah, it is kind of a feels bad moment. And of course, that is a compass, which means we are down to the 50-50 as far as having an item on Trolldorm.
Yeah, the Master Sword fight, Moldorm takes the same amount of damage from Fighter Sword Slashes and Master Sword Slashes. Both of those would take 6, but Master Sword spins still do double damage and will take him down in just 3 spins. So
All right.
HiDef missed his item count and is going to be going on to the vanilla big key chest.
Oh boy.
Or maybe he just assumes, yeah, there's no way I can just leave this dungeon, right? So Maligord got a poke, which puts does slash damage and puts Moldorm into the angry phase, but gets another poke, gets the fight done. For the map, Tile Room has the remaining item.
That is mean.
Brenna might be laggy, but that's not a bad strat from HiDef there.
Yeah, gets the job done. Wastes a little less magic.
I wonder if it works for that. It probably does. It would probably be a little bit faster than Berna, but that's a good learning strat. Like if you have trouble with using the damage abuse, an invincibility item is a really nice option to keep in mind.
Yep.
And that's, I think, the first time I've seen that done as well.
Yeah, it works pretty well. Cape also works, so that would be a pretty neat strat. And I tend to mess up the damage boost strats occasionally.
So Maligord just idling his way through Tile Room. Took him a couple tries to set it up, but more fun than dodging around. Spectacle Rock apparently just had the only 100 rupee item in the game, so we've seen every single rupee denomination above 50 now.
And there's the Moon Pearl in the basement of Hera. That's going to do it for Dark World access. However, there is the matter of the hammer.
Yes, Aghanim can still be required to access East Dark World without the hammer, to find the hammer. But that is significantly less likely than needing him for Dark World access or Lumberjack. But it can happen.
So at this point, you kind of want to see, if you are Maligord, you kind of want to see flippers or hammer immediately.
Yeah, Maligord walking his way over to Kakariko. I think he forgot he has the flute. Or has he not activated? No, he's definitely activated his flute. We saw him go to Checkerboard Cave.
Yeah, I kind of want to see somebody make a check on Desert.
Yeah, especially with that Pearl. I think HiDef will be doing that. He hasn't dipped into Desert. He hasn't done Checkerboard. And he'll be able to add the Mire Shed. Map check. I see red and blue in Skullwoods and Ice Palace, as we know, Green Pendant Mire, and then 5 and 6 were Swamp and Turtle Rock.
Yeah, I don't expect Pyramid Fairy to be a thing, and certainly not Pyramid Fairy Hammer, so that's not going to be a problem.
No, but Pod Hammer could still be a thing.
So Mire is a pendant, Ice is a pendant, Skull Woods is a pendant. Now,
Yeah,
Skull Woods,
I feel that you just dip that immediately. It does not matter.
Yeah, I would probably dip Skull Woods, just because if it's a pendant and you find something, that's great, and you don't have to come back. If you don't find something, you still don't have to come back.
And you invested maybe a minute.
Yeah, maybe a little more if you went to the back room with the big key chest.
Yeah, but with the Can of Samaria and the Mirror, it doesn't get much faster than that. So
There
nothing
is that.
turning up for Maligord in the Village of Outcasts.
Yeah. Now, how do you feel about dipping Thieves Town without the hammer?
It's a 50% chance that you will need the hammer to full clear. That's not just straight 4 of 8. This takes into account the big key and small key algorithm stuff. It just happens to still work out to 50%,
Well, there you go.
which I think is by design with the algorithm.
You know, if you take the coin flip chance, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. The small key there definitely increases the probability of it being required.
Yeah, it's got to be either map or compass now, but still plenty of places the items can be. So HiDef getting Moldorm done. Bit of a slow and safe fight. I can't blame him. He fell in the center hole once, and that is just like the big chest bomb jump fail. You fall 2 floors.
Gross.
Should be 1 more slash because he's in raid phase. And that's the dead worm.
So now HiDefLoMein will be heading down to the basement, I imagine. Get that moon pearl, and we'll be having ourselves an interesting time in the dark world.
Yeah, Village of Outcast is the typical early Dark World play. It's pretty dense, and it's got 2 dungeons that are just, they become clearable very quickly.
I just saw Weighty Words' comment. If you find an item in Skull Woods, is that independent?
That sounds like the kind of thing Blind would say. I approve. So HiDef gets the so-called coffee break strat way easier. Just likes to use Samaria for it. Can't blame him. That's pretty trivial to pull off.
Yeah, it might be something like items in optional dungeons are independent. Oh my goodness.
+5 air capacity. So not progression, it's not map or compass, which is exactly what you want to see.
And HiDefLoMein picks up the Moon Pearl and will be heading out shortly. And we'll see if he makes a beeline for the Dark World or if we will be perhaps taking a check over to Desert.
Yeah, he's fluting somewhere. And straight to 3, so he will be going and following Maligord's footstep here.
Yeah, the sick kid was checked. It was only 50 rupees.
But 50 rupees meant basically nothing, seeing as all the 300s turned up. So HiDef does his map check, sees that annoying pendant layout. You don't want to see pendant ice. You really don't when you have almost all the tools required to clear it. And the map turns up for Maligord in Blind Cell, so at this point, I don't think I saw the compass.
Yeah. I think it was in the big key chest.
Oh, if it was, in that case, the big chest will in fact have an item. And that is not a fun thing to have to return to. It's always in the back of your mind if you don't outright forget about it. So it looked like Maligord considered doing a Burna fight with half magic. It's completely trivial, but instead electing to do hybrid sword and Samaria.
This looks like a fight he may have practiced. The first couple phases took no damage, just a little bit in the last phase. Pretty well done.
Yeah, 20 rupees, so nothing of value, and Thieves Town is now going to be at the back of his mind for the next however long the seed goes on. Because when do you go back for that big chest?
Yeah, I love some Mario blind strats. They're a lot of fun to do, even if they may not be the most efficient strats.
So
I missed
HiDef's going to
that
be
bug
running
net the
Thieves
first
Town.
time.
Well, HiDef is doing Thieves Town. Maligord's going to check Bumper Cave. He can get the item if it's important, and it's flippers, so that's important. And kills the Aghanim Dream entirely.
Yep, that's
The
gonna
only
do it.
technicality that could remain would have been Hammer at Pyramid Fairy, which can be sequence broken, but seeing as Turtle Rock is one of our 5 and 6 crystals, there's just no way, unless this is secretly an overworld glitches seed.
Yeah, I don't think that was the case. I think we're all right. But yeah, the flippers giving us plenty of access, and that right there explains why the cape was so early.
Yep. And potentially, equally annoyingly, that opens Ice Palace, so Pendant Ice is in logic. And that is probably the meanest place for the hammer to be in the entire game, if it is.
Yeah, I'd even call that potentially meaner than only chest where it can be in swamp.
Yeah, because if you check Swamp, then you get kicked out immediately if it's not there. Ice, you're investing a couple minutes to check a few chests. If it's not there, it just does not feel good.
I probably would have gotten baited into Aga before this.
Yeah, generally, you don't want to do Aghanim without a follow-up play, which generally means you scout for the Moon Pearl. Or wait until you have something to do in Palace of Darkness or can hookshot across the river. Sometimes seeds don't play out like that, but most of them will let you do that. So Maligord checked Graveyard Ledge, didn't have anything of value here. He's going back to 3. He's probably going to walk his way down to Hype Cave from here. Though he might also elect to do the Blacksmith and Purple Chest on the way.
Yep, that is a perfectly reasonable option. Having the mirror and the mitts makes that a pretty solid play. You probably do Digging Game first, just because Digging Game does not like it when you have something following you.
Easy enough to forget, but after you've made that routing mistake a couple times, you learn your lesson and go do it first. So even Digging Game is giving a lot of money today. Yeah, just another 20 rupees, but wow, that was 4 reds got dug up there.
Yeah, at this point, if I see any prizes that are money, I'm just leaving them behind.
Yeah, you just don't care about money. You pretty much only care about items at this point. I'd say with red mail, even heart pieces aren't worth the effort. But obviously that's up to each individual runner. Different people want different amounts of health. Some people will even skip early full hearts, and sometimes it pays off, sometimes they get punished for it. So HiDef electing to start with the sword fight, and he's probably going to switch to Burna if things get too scary. He has it out, just in case. Yeah.
Yep, emergency Brian strats. And I just missed what was on the blacksmith.
Double your investment, another 20 rupee prize.
Yay!
Yeah, So now we're seeing the legendary Purple Chest World Tour.
All right, so we'll probably see this Grove Cave check followed by Stumpsman.
Hype Cave, and then the Purple Chest, and then hopefully then fluting to 6.
That does not seem like a particularly optimal location. Oh, okay, he's coming in from the bottom.
That's one way to do it. Yeah, I've seen a few different strategies for dropping the mirror portal there. Because obviously, if you're on top of a flower, you mirror block.
Stumpsman did his job today.
Yeah, you got your powder. Mildly annoying, seeing as you've just done everything else that doesn't require the hammer in the area, because you can mirror behind the hammer peg for Magic Bat.
Yeah, it's a little bit disappointing.
But what are the odds of hammer being there? Famous last words.
Ooh, we got Tempered Sword. So Hype Cave pretty much on the board. There's a shovel and a heart piece and another heart piece and another heart piece.
Yeah, I'd say that's decently hype. You got the Tempered Sword. That's easily one of the nicest items to find. And the shovel is eh.
The shovel gives you an excuse to go back and check Magic Bat.
Indeed it does.
You can route backwards after turning in the purple chest.
I mean, you'd have to take an extra Dark World trip, but that means you don't get an extra flute. But yeah, we might see that done. So HiDef doing pretty much the same thing.
That would actually be an interesting gamble right now if you went for the first swamp chest right now.
There's a vanilla bottle,
Yeah,
and Maligord does go back to the Dark
bottle.
World. He probably won't dip swamp. He's probably thinking, I'm going to turn in that shovel, and while I'm at it, I'll redeem that powder too.
To check that without hammer, you go over to the place it is in the Dark World, you mirror above the ledge and drop down. Now, if you don't get the hammer there, you lose your portal, so you have to go back up and get it. But it's not that far to go back to the Kakariko portal.
Yeah, and in this particular seed, that doesn't even matter. As soon as you're done with Magic Bat, you're done with that part of the Dark World too. You'd want to be in the Light World so you can flute somewhere.
Though, I might go back up to the Kakariko portal just to do the Skull Woods check.
That is valid, but you could do that by fluting.
That is true.
Like, the flute is just such a nice item for getting around. Like, it turns Dark World access from a bit of a chore to, yeah, I can go anywhere I want pretty quickly. That was Maligord's first bottle because he didn't buy one from Zora, so that doubly incentivizes the decision to head back up to Kakariko for this.
Yeah. Seems entirely reasonable.
Yeah, HiDef's gonna go get his Tempered Sword and shovel out of Hype Cave. Having a little bit of trouble with the screen transition barrier.
So you got Tempered Sword, you got Silvers, you got Red Mail. I'm pretty sure you don't want anything else.
More hearts can't hurt.
Yeah, you basically want to find all your items now. I would not mind getting immediate go mode. I mean, I don't love the idea of 7 or 8 hearts, but I got Red Mail, I can live.
Yeah, 10 or 11's plenty with Red Mail usually. And while scouting, even for big keys, it's likely that more hearts will turn up.
We get just bombs.
So Magic Bat doesn't have any value. However, A really nice route from Maligord there. Let him clear out a lot of his loose locations and head straight to the mire area when he's done.
All right, so mire area today. We do not have the ether medallion, and Maligord has actually checked most of the things around this area. Has not
Hasn't
checked
dipped
the
desert, didn't
shed.
break mire shed, so 2 items here, plus whatever he can get out of desert. And High Def, again, just following Maligord's footsteps, doing the same general route. So, just a couple of junk items.
And shed is garbage as we head into Desert Palace.
Maligord never checked the ledge item, it's just 20 rupees, so... Bit of a walk, but nothing too bad.
Unfortunately, the hammer can't be... Well, it can be on the pyramid. It can't be in the pyramid ferry.
We have 2 different ways to access the pyramid, either swimming across the river or heading through Aghanim, but nobody's going to head through Aghanim here. Just the compass on the torch, though. Desert is just, it does not care about boots. Fully clearable dungeon here.
What if boots are in desert? Then does desert care about boots?
No.
Oh. Alright, so we got the small key in the one guaranteed accessible chest, the big key in the map chest.
2 8 bomb drops.
Goodness. And the, of course, big key chest containing big 20.
Yeah, so it is faster to mirror out from here, seeing as the backdoor entrance was used. And he realizes that and is going to go check his big chest. So a gamble here that is potentially worth making would actually be to go fight Landmo before checking the big chest, because you'd have to fight Landmo anyway. That said, either decision's easily justifiable here.
Just a bomb upgrade. So that's both items in desert. We can go ahead and defeat Landmolas, and that's, reasonable to do while you're up here.
Yeah, there's no point not to. So it looks like HiDef's going to be going over to North Dark World and probably swim across the river. So we'll see some new items over there. There's Catfish is open, Pyramid's open, and Palace of Darkness. Bolus Hammerless Palace of Darkness has at least 1 chest accessible. Very likely more.
I think his current plan is to go up here and go through Skull Woods, but after picking up these flippers, he may change his mind.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that neither runner has elected to dip Skull Woods yet.
Yeah,
That's probably pretty high on Maligord's priority list now.
You do kind of like to avoid pendant dungeons if you can. And that, sometimes it works out for you.
Yeah, but Front of Skull Woods takes maybe a minute. It's just so fast. And because it's a pendant, you might never even need to go to the back. I don't really see a reason to avoid Pendant Skull Woods personally, but, if you're just thinking, I don't want to enter a pendant dungeon, then yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, this is why generally if I can, and it's a Pendant Skull Woods, I'll probably just hit it up as soon as I get to the Dark World at that particular portal, just because that way I don't have to go back up that direction.
Yeah, it routes so conveniently as a start to the Dark World.
All right, so we get that graveyard ledge check. Is this an ice?
It might be Hobo into Waterfall Ferry.
We're gonna get the and Maligord has not done Zora.
Yeah, so he's got a lot of flipper locked items
Oh!
here. Oh,
There's the
that
bow!
is an accessible bow.
I think Maligord is going to be like, wait a minute.
Yeah, so bow on Lake Hylia Island, you don't usually see that and have it be already accessible. So it is a bit of a walk from the Titan's Mitt accessible portal, but, you know, it is the bow. You kind of need that to beat the game.
For all we know, we could pick up the hammer here in, like, Waterfall Cave.
Yeah, that would be really nice. I think runners would almost rather see hookshot, though, just for a faster East Death Mountain access. You know, why not both? Hammer and hookshot.
Yeah, exactly.
So high def clearing out the rest of Meyer Desert area, probably. Checkerboard Cave, Heart Piece, ignores it, and then probably straight into desert.
Yep, that does seem reasonable. Luckily, this isn't a fake flipper. As Maligord takes a little hit on the way into the cave there.
Yeah, another pair of junk items.
Yep, Maligord's going to get the bottle from Zora and then peace out. Likely head to the only Dark World access available and take the long, long walk to the bow.
Yeah, and at that point, you almost want to dip Palace of Darkness.
Yeah,
I
if
mean,
you're not
you don't
doing
want
fun
to
at this
without the
point.
hammer, but as far as the hammerless dungeon dips go, the pod is kind of not that terrible because the only thing hammer locks you out of is clearing the dungeon. I'd still hit Pyramid and Catfish before it, but I would not be surprised if that's
Oh,
a trick.
yeah. And so because of that, I would more than likely take the northern route to get there so that Catfish is easier to route.
Sensible enough. So Maligord showing a bit of knowledge that the mountain cave is the fastest exit point. So if you remember to menu away from Link's house, you can get the health refill faster and just flute somewhere. So it looks like he is going to be taking the northern route. Added bonus of taking the northern route, you get to have that Skull Woods dip that neither runner's done yet.
Well, I mean, this is the only portal he can access. He could be going south from here. But I doubt it. I stand corrected.
Yeah. It's a little bit clunky overworld. That bow placement without hammer is just not nice. Yeah, so High Def's gonna go get his Desert Crystal, and we'll see where he elects to go following that. I think the runners have cleared pretty much the same things at this point.
Alright, so Maligord gonna go pick up that bow, then I imagine head to the east side of Dark World for a eventual dip into Palace of Darkness.
Gets a bomb stolen, but doesn't really care. Yeah, I guess he just really wanted that bow, which I can't blame him. That's bow with silver arrows.
He's about to flute away and then decided, wait a minute.
Yeah, isn't there a dock over here I can use? And yes, there is.
It's actually a couple.
Yeah, I think there's 2 up this way. One of which is actually a really nice mirror spot for getting to Hobo if you want to do that. So HiDef slashing his way through Landmo. They take 4 slashes each. With the Tempered Sword, pretty solid weapon. 2 spins if you go for spins. So probably 1 more slash, maybe 2 on this one. And we are going to see the pyramid check first.
Yeah, I don't know if Catfish is in the cards, but we will see. Depends on if the hammer's here. It's not.
Yeah, you might think that Eastern Palace being clearable now would make Pod a little more appetizing, but no items left, just the crystal. But, you know, Pod is definitely more appetizing than Catfish on its own. It's just that Catfish first and then Pod is a little more appetizing than Pod first and then walking to Catfish.
Yeah. Alright, so it looks like HiDefLoMein will be heading over to the flipper checks area as well. Basically following
his
Maligord
bow.
step by step. He's going to see the bow and be like, wait.
Yep, that turn around and then, no, let's do Hobo.
It's like, wait, I can't get back here anytime soon. Okay, we'll just deal with this.
You know, I'd actually put off Hobo on thinking on it with that bow placement and just, you know, use that mirror spot.
Oh, yeah, that is an excellent point. I mean, in the heat of the moment, you may not actually, you know, remember that.
Yeah, it's one of those things. That's probably one of the more obscure ways of getting around that one tile you can mirror. But it can have a lot of value if you know it. So Pod is not bow locked, but Maligord elects to take that side first. With the mirror, this is not a bad call. Like, you can need the keys from over here, and especially without the hammer, it's just, you need to mirror or Death Warp out, or take a very long walk.
Alright, so Maligord's going to go check out the bow locked section over here. Best case scenario is you find the hammer over here and you feel extremely good about yourself.
Second best is probably finding the big key over here, just because it makes checking the big chest extra convenient.
So, a couple rules for routing Palace of Darkness. If, in the first, these 2 chests, the first chest, the arena chest, if you find 2 items in those, then you know that the big key chest and the Stalfos chest both have small keys. So you don't have to go to them.
Yeah, there's 6 keys in Palace of Darkness, and there cannot be keys placed in the Dark Maze due to the placement order right now. That may change in future versions, but for now, no small keys in the Dark Maze, no small keys on Helmasaur. So you can use your knowledge of where the keys can land to potentially rule out Harmless Hellway, and have a lot smoother route through Palace of Darkness. Potentially get a full clear, knowingly skipping 3 or 4 locations.
There's the big key in the Stalfos basement here.
Yeah, HiDef looked like he was considering dipping Ice Palace here, but he seems a little flustered by that bow.
Interesting.
It is definitely an awkward place for it to be.
And there's a big 1.
Single rupee, yeah! So with the big key in full clearing, this is actually one of the few times in non-key sanity where the hammer jump would be helpful, but it's a small time save, and if you fail it, you've lost time, so most people probably won't attempt it.
So if you're designing Hyrulean currency, whose picture is on the 1 rupee?
Let's put that priest guy in Sanctuary there.
All
So
right.
Maligord picks up a lot of rupees in the dark basement.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like we've got all the small keys. So there's something in that harmless hellway, probably a compass.
Yeah, that would be just like Randomizer.
No, it's a big 20, which is just as insulting.
Yeah, we're an hour into the seed. We still don't know what... We still don't have East Death Mountain access, which is quite rare.
Yep. No hammer, no hook shot. No way
Yeah.
of reaching there. Once you
HiDef's
get that,
been...
that's a giant smorgasbord of items.
Yeah. Plus 10 bomb capacity, so it's big chest or bust for pod. HiDef's been going through Skull Woods. I haven't seen anything of value. It looks like on the tracker he did find the mushroom, so that could be valuable.
Interesting. Where was that?
Skull Woods.
Oh, okay. Right. He's in Skull Woods. I have eyes. I should use them.
Yeah, Maligord's gonna go bully the Armos. Doesn't really have... he was already in the area, but since it's not an item, it would probably be worth waiting until go mode for this, just because you could then come back here with the boots and do it even faster.
I mean, if you get the boots.
Yeah, but if you don't get the boots, you'd have to go back to pod when you have the hammer anyway, so you could just mirror after pod.
Yeah, that is true.
So Eastern access is a wash either way, so no point to do it immediately other than just getting it out of your mind.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I may have gone up to Ganon's Tower the other day without doing Eastern because I forgot about it. So sometimes you just want to get that peace of mind.
Yep.
The reason you don't finish pod is because you don't have the hammer. You can't actually do it.
I was so hoping to see the hammer in that chest and be like, and speaking of...
That would have been great.
Yeah, so at this point, I think the only locations we haven't seen are first chest of Swamp, the available chest in Ice Palace. Again, both of ice is a pendant, so nobody really wants to dip pendant ice without the hammer. And then Catfish, which is a pain to route in no matter what you do.
I think HiDefLoMein will be checking out Catfish shortly. Seems likely. Nope, we're going south here too.
Yeah, he hasn't picked up his bow yet. And I don't think he checked Magic Bat. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's not going to be important.
I see Mushroom got unclicked on the tracker, so maybe that was a misclick when adding powder in.
Okay then.
So Maligord's got his Eastern Palace Crystal. That's 4 dungeons down. Still needs that hammer. Still needs that hookshot. And the fire rod. And the ice rod.
So Maligord once again jukes the bird.
Yeah, looks like we're going to be seeing the catfish check from Maligord first.
Yep, that does seem likely as HiDef heads into the floating island. So speaking of the floating island, you mentioned earlier that the potential like hammer pyramid fairy was sequence breakable.
Mhm.
Are you supposed to mirror on the island there?
Nope. There's a couple different ways to
'Cause I
sequence
saw
break
somebody
them.
do it and couldn't pull it off.
Yeah, there's a couple different ways. The main way you do it is either like you grab the bomb, you walk all the way around the world, counter in a clockwise direction, and after you've done that, you can either swim across the river and screen transition to summon the bomb back to you, or get water walk in Skull Woods to be able to dash and have that happen just slightly easier. A little bit slower, but easier.
Also requires the boots.
Yes. But it is possible with just the flippers. You need some sort of footwear in order to pull this off.
But yeah, basically, you can keep the bomb with you as long as you are in a place where you can cause a screen transition, either through an actual screen transition or a mirroring on the point where it turns into a 0.
Whirlpool warps work as well, but due to how swimming works, that's a little bit harder to time.
Right. And of course, you kind of want to not be in the water when that happens. If at all possible.
So there's a lot of little different ways it can be done, but the gist of it is you walk around the world. And Maligord's going to show us the Skullwoods Big Chest Bomb Jump, while HiDef gets the gold sword from Catfish.
Well, I mean, it's not the world's greatest item, but you're not going to complain.
No. It is ridiculously overkill for basically everything in the game, though.
I mean, you want to talk ridiculously overkill. We got gold sword, we got silver arrows and bow. I mean, how... everything is going to die very quickly all the time.
Yeah, even the runners in this case, if things start going south, still no second row of hearts.
Yep. So now we are actually down to the worst hammer locations.
Yep, you've got Crystal Swamp, hammerless, and you've got Pendant Ice. I'd say you definitely want to check Swamp first in this case.
Yeah, I'm
If it boots
usually
you out
not
faster,
a huge...
you'd have to go in at some point anyway. If it lets you dodge the Ice Palace trip, then all the better.
I'm usually not a huge fan of the swamp trip in general, but if in this particular case, it seems like it would be less painful than the ice dip.
Yeah, you've got one choice and you have a worse choice. It looks like we are seeing the Ice Palace play.
Okay, so the Ice Palace play. To be fair, while the swamp check is less painful, I think it's also less likely to be correct.
Yeah, it is a little less likely, so you've got to weigh that. I'd say neither choice is bad. Like in relation to each other, they're not good choices, but the seed has given the runners no good choices.
Especially since we
hasn't done pod yet, so he's going to check pod.
We got that Ice Palace access just so early. It seems like the seed was just kind of pushing you that direction.
Wait, is HiDef going to go finish up Eastern Palace even though it's not an item first?
Looks like it.
Not even mirroring from the Dark World, so that's going to slow him down on checking Palace of Darkness.
Now, if it turns out that Hammer is in Ice Palace, you remember when we were talking about sequence breaking Ice Palace a long time ago? Just throwing that out there.
In that case, this would be one of the few times where that sequence break would pay off.
Yeah,
but
and
obviously
you still wouldn't do it again
while you're playing.
Right. And the fact that we saw it this time means we'll never see it again, except for the fact that these are independent events, and that should never weigh into your account.
Yeah, chat did notice that Bombos is just an extra lock, which in theory means that Ice Palace is more likely to be progression. But with those flippers being early and locked by the cape, Bombos could just as easily have been placed because the other medallions are put in Ganon's tower. And that's the Turtle Rock medallion, so... It's a very weak tell, but it could be enough to tip you in favor of Ice over Swamp.
Interesting that we've got the bomb jump set up here. I guess it doesn't actually matter that much.
Yeah, especially if you get such a clean jump like that. Yeah, no boots, no hook shot does make traveling through this room kind of a pain.
Basically the worst. Now, luckily, we did get a small key in the first chest, so that will
makes
make it
checking the spike chest way faster.
But it's only the spike chest.
Yeah,
Don't try to go any further.
yeah. The other
will not
chests on
end
that
well.
side are hammer locked, and there's literally no way around that.
I'm sure you could do it with some sort of major glitch, but you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, I think there are a couple of ways. I feel like I saw Todd Show post a GIF of opening other chests and saying, "Hey, this is actually the contents of these chests," because Link to the Past is weird like that. So HiDef downs the Armos Knights, gets his map. And we're going to see the Freezer Room chest, so we have not seen the big key in Ice yet.
Now
and
we
there's
have.
the big key in Ice.
So there
So
are.
this is where the bomb jump is actually going to make Maligord's route here slower.
Yeah, because
He's
he's
going to have
got
to
to
take
get
a
to Ice
longer
T,
view to get
possibly.
over to Ice T after the big chest.
Yeah, but that's the only place remaining that can have an item that's accessible.
Yeah, so it is either Ice T, because you need the hammer to get to Cold Stare, and he does realize that. Or that one chest in Swamp Palace.
Oh, and that is just the worst feeling.
Or, an item leading to it. It does not have to be immediately right there.
So HiDefLoMein is going back to the Dark World. We know this is the only way back. Do you think there's a chance that he checks Swamp on the way to Pod?
I don't think it's likely. He has his bow.
Oh!
Hook shot in Ice.
Hook shot in Ice. That is a thing for sure.
Yeah, now maybe finding the hammer is not the best thing that could happen. It looks like HiDef is not heading down towards Swamp, so it's straight over to Palace of Darkness. But Maligord has to leave. He's going to go Death Mountain. East Death Mountain's open. Dark Death Mountain's open. There's no better place to go.
Maybe he is. Oh, it looked like he was going to Swamp for a second there.
Considering it, he's definitely considering it.
Oh, we're making the play. Look at this.
Yeah, knowing where the hook shot is, this is now less likely to pay off, just because there's so many more locations open. But if it does...
Yeah, if it turns out that this hook shot is just a complete jebaited.
I think more likely if Hammer's in Swamp, that hookshot is still going to be required.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, then it's sort of like a double dip required one way or another.
Well, Ice is a pendant, so either way, there's some bait here. And for all we know, there could still be another item in Ice Palace, which would be incredibly mean. But Maligord getting the Fire Shield while HiDef enters Swamp Palace, gets his bomb out, gets his first chest in here, guaranteed small key for access, and then bomb open the wall for the only other chest you can access without the hammer. So Paradox has 2 heart pieces so far, 3 heart pieces so far. Rupees and bombs. So Paradox is a bust, but still another lot of items over here on Death Mountain.
I believe the technical term is a metric butt ton.
So HiDef only finding the map in that chest, and I don't think he realizes he can't progress farther without the hammer. He's going to be in for a bit of a rude surprise at the next lever.
Yeah, this is going to be quite disappointing.
So yeah, Ice Palace was the play.
Right, so we see a bottle on the floating island with Maligord heading into Spiral Cave.
Yeah, HiDef realizes he can't go any farther, and he looks like he's going to go over to Palace of Darkness now, which he has not done yet. I think that and Ice are his only choices, so after Pod, he's going to go Ice.
Yeah, it is unfortunate that Ice Palace is going to be the last thing on his mind.
Yeah, there's the 10 bombs for Maligord, so they've picked up a lot of bomb capacity upgrades since we last saw the bomb cap. 35 is more than you've ever need, unless you're fighting Vitreous without a sword or something.
Yeah, I'm not going to say I've done that in real life, except I have. The one little advantage that HiDef has is that catfish check with the butter sword. It's not going to make that much of a difference.
But that gold sword is going to make his life a lot easier in a few places.
I do not imagine that Maligord will be picking that up at any point in this run.
Yeah, unless the ice rod is just super out of the way. So Super Bunny Cave, nothing. So it's down to Hookshot Cave. Unless Turtle Rock's medallion is Bombos. And you have to do a fire rodless trip.
It
It
is
is Bombos!
Oh my.
The one upshot for Maligord here is if Hookshot Cave is a bust, Turtle Rock is the only play.
Well, you're going to have the hammer to get in there anyway.
Oh, right. I completely spaced on that for a moment because it's like, here we are.
Like,
And
I don't think it can
anyway,
be a
so
bust at this point.
it had to be here. Or, something leading to it.
So I think right now you take the opportunity to just see what's in the first chest of T-Rock. It's not the world's greatest feeling, but you just do it. Or not.
Yeah, Pod's clearable. Swamp Palace is clearable. Those are probably a bit higher priority checks.
Yeah, finishing Pod seems like the high priority check, and then maybe heading into Swamp. I don't like the idea of there being value in Swamp because that's like the worst kind of feeling, but you deal with it.
Yeah, Hammer also opens up a couple of other more isolated locations. Hammer Pegs for one, Spike Cave for another. Like, obviously that first chest in Turtle Rock is open, even though they don't have Fire Rod. And potentially, this requires a very specific layout, but Fire Rodless Turtle Rock can actually get you all the way to the laser bridge.
Yeah, it's a very rare occasion. And I mean, because the keys and stuff are placed first, it has to be possible, a priori before the items are placed.
Yeah, it requires a small key in the big chest. I believe it requires small key, and then big key in its vanilla location, and then a small key in the big chest for it to work.
I think you can have a small key in the chest after that as well, and it still works. In the crystal roller room.
Okay. Either way, the big key must be in its vanilla location, because it takes 2 small keys in the 2 available chests before that point. So if you go in and you find anything else, you're locked out anyway.
So we have both runners in the same dungeon, one of them slightly better equipped.
That hammer is everything. So Maligord, having full health, gets to do the sword beam strat here.
Oh, we haven't talked about Thieves Town Big Chest yet.
Yeah. See, it's so easy to forget that hasn't been checked, but that's open now. And so many other things have happened here, like that bow to just distract. So there are just a lot of stray locations that hammer opens up. You never want to find it late.
Speaking of hammer, we'll be applying that directly to the forehead of Helmasaur King.
17 hammer hits to knock off the mask, and then he'll die to 1 silver arrow hit. Very clean fight from Maligord there.
Maligord showing off the fact that the spikes do not damage you after the boss dies.
You can do the same thing in Mothula's room if you want.
Yep. There's only like a few places where you could take damage after the boss dies. Cold Stare is one of them. You could take an ice hit from the ceiling. And if
Vitreous is another, because the slime does not immediately deactivate. Yeah, so Maligord at this point, probably Swamp. He's floating to 4. Where else is he going to go? It's a fully clearable crystal. It's just, that should be the priority. Even the left side Swamp is a huge pain to deal with. The rest of Swamp is pretty fast. Yeah. Especially for the amount of items you get.
I feel like, given this current situation, I might skip left side with the intention of going back if I didn't find anything.
Yeah, I do like the route of rush Argus and then go back in for left side if necessary. We know that the first non-small key chest is the map, so we also know that there is going to be at least 1 item on left side already.
Right. No left, and I'm like, okay. Alright, so HiDefLoMein is going to go pick up that big chest. It's going to be disappointing. Yeah, Mire Shed was checked a little while ago, I believe, by both runners, and it was garbage.
I think it was a heart piece and 5 rupees. So what's the worst thing to find right now? The worst
medallion.
thing that could turn up would be Ether.
Yep, Ether Medallion lets you into Mire. Good luck with that.
And Mire's just 1 more location you can check. So HiDef, having no other options, is going to do his Ice Power trip. And he's going to be sorely disappointed to find the hook shot. And then, well, again, only 1 choice, Death Mountain for the hammer.
Yep. Now, we did get the hammer up on Death Mountain, and I said that I might have checked Turtle Rock for like the 1 or few chests I could get to. There's another place up there we could have checked once we got that hammer as well.
Yeah, Spike Cave opened up. It's not too bad to check it from the Light World side, so it's not too bad. But it could also be the progression. There's, like I've said, the late hammer just has a lot of stray locations left behind.
All right, so we're going to get to see some new information about Swamp Palace.
Yeah, if this is the other of Map and Compass, in this case the Compass, the left side has 2 items and it's probably worth rushing. It's the big key though, so it still might be, just because now you know Argus won't force you back in.
And it looks like Maligord's going to do the left side check.
Yeah, this is not a bad decision.
Yeah, I mean, I can actually get behind either decision here, to be honest. Either one is a perfectly reasonable position to have, and either one could result in value.
Yeah, you're going to have to do the start of left side no matter what, so you can save a little bit by doing it with that first key. The alternative is, of course, being able to save that time back if the vanilla big key chest is the compass in this case.
Yeah, and I especially like doing the left side check when the item I'm looking for is the ice rod, because it basically breaks all the rules of where things are likely to be. Because the ice rod is just equally likely to be in any location that's available, period.
There actually is a bias towards Turtle Rock, just because it's more heavily locked location. It's not large, but it is more likely to be there than anywhere else. This is shown on the spoiler log stats sheet that gets posted with every new release.
Right.
Yeah, Turtle Rock, Ice Rod feels really trolly, and it is, but it's more likely than you'd think it is. So anyway,
is.
left side swamp has the
Oh.
fire rod.
Put the ice rod over here next to it. Come on. Nope.
Just the compass. So see, going back to Argus first, would have saved a little bit by getting to skip that trip, but,
Unless you decided to just peace out and go somewhere else.
yeah. But the fire rod means ice rod is it. And, well, the only place it can't be is Trinex or Ganon's Tower. It can be literally anywhere else in the game.
So
this seed could just be getting started.
So, question for you. When you leave here, probably you go to Turtle Rock just to hope that the ice rod is there. Is there any chance you go ahead and check the back of Skullwoods?
No. Back of Skullwoods is too out of the way.
If you got the book, is there any chance you check the back of Skullwoods?
Yeah, I'd check Pedestal first, from the Dark World, so that I can just clear Skullwoods, because if the Ice Rod is on the pedestal, and you know that, then you just clear the dungeons and you're done. 50 rupees and the Ether Medallion.
So now you could make the gamble on the ice rod being in Mire if you wanted to.
And I'm personally a pretty big fan of the Mire trip. I might even do that before.
Oh, never mind.
Let's go mode.
We're done.
Let's go mode unless boots are on, unless the big key in Ganon's Tower is on the torch.
So we got
not go mode necessarily, but at this point, this dungeon's basically, it has been full cleared. Go mode Turtle Rock is basically the same as a full clear, so you might as well clear it out. Just on the off chance you don't would need to go back in, and then you check GT.
Yep. So we are not 100% in go mode, but we got trolled by the Ether Medallion for about 12 seconds.
Yeah, loaded Swamp Palace today. You got your wish of both rods in here.
Yep, there is that.
So one silver arrow shot, hard to line up, but Maligord gets it. And, oh no. HiDef leaving Ice Palace without his hook shot.
What? Why?
I don't know if he realized that Ice-T was accessible. Oh wait, no, he did get it. He just had a different route. It just wasn't on the tracker.
You scared the snot out of me.
I got a little scared there for him as well. Yeah, we got so sidetracked by this Swamp Palace having everything.
All right, so Maligord now going to be heading toward Turtle Rock. This will be a quick trip as best you can. I don't imagine there will be too many difficulties encountered in Turtle Rock today.
No, definitely not. Maligord will probably be checking Mimic Cave as he passes through, just on the off chance that its boots required for the big key in Ganon's Tower, and they're there. Just on the off chance. It's not very costly.
Yeah, I feel like if this were me, I might have like fluted to 2 real fast to get some potions, but that's just because I'm a wimp.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary here with red mail, tempered silvers, half magic, fire rod, and powder for those refills in Ganon's Tower.
Right, the powder. The only reason I would do that is just because I got all this money, I want to spend it.
Yeah, for me, the tipping point would be without the powder, I would go get I would go stock up on a couple of potions, but the powder is sufficient for refills in these dungeons. So yeah, Turtle Rock.
All right, if we find the Pegasus boots, then we are done.
Yeah, 100% go mode if the boots turn up. And then again, 100% go mode we'll see in Ganon's Tower.
All right, so the first chest in Turtle Rock was a small key. So if you'd come in here without the fire rod, you would be able to continue to the Chomp Room.
Yeah, the one nice thing about revisiting Turtle Rock is most of the rooms are pre-cleared and you can just walk through. It's not the most fun to get back to, but running back through the dungeon is not too bad. Fortunately, nobody has to do it here. HiDef might elect to dip Turtle Rock while he's up here after finding his hammer. We know he basically needs to rush Swamp Palace. And with the layout, you have to full clear it.
All right, there's a small key in the fire locked area. So what do you bet the odds are that when Maligord enters Ganon's Tower, he makes a direct beeline for the left side?
I'd still go right side first, honestly. If it's big key on the torch, then you'd start by clearing Ganon's Tower looking for the boots. So
Yeah, I guess that's what you do.
You do the same thing anyway,
Never
but there's the
mind.
boots anyway. That is officially go mode.
Though, I'm just saying, if you'd have come in here before, you'd have had the boots.
Yeah, I don't know if that would have paid for itself, but
Who knows?
not a bad find, and just incredibly nice knowing that when you enter Ganon's Tower, you're good to go. There's no way you have to come back later.
Now we do have the big key in the vanilla big key chest. No problem there. You don't have to worry about whether you should go check this chest. You should. You have to.
Yeah, the one of 22 dream in Ganon's Tower is still alive, but the rest of them died. I mean, and after that rude hammer placement, I want to see Ganon's Tower continue this trend of being nice. Like, let's put it on the torch.
Sure. All right, so you're Maligord right now. Do you check the big chest?
No. Actually, no, yeah, you do check it. It can be a key. Like, you don't check Mimic Cave. Like, nothing other than Gold Sword, which we know the location of, can justify that. And it doesn't save enough. Yeah, getting bullied a little bit by the lasers there.
And HiDefLoMein will be making the direct Swamp Palace play, so that's going to be good for him.
and small key in the big chest, so that was a necessary trip.
Yep. You do, in fact, need every small key at this point because you had to go to the big key chest.
Yeah, it's a gamble that you don't want to make it. It barely saves anything if it goes right, and it costs you so much if it goes wrong.
It wouldn't have really hurt you that much because you'd have gotten here without a key, and then you'd be like, okay, I gotta turn around.
Yeah, Laser Bridge does have the final key. So we might see some pretty nice laser skips coming up. Or we might see just Burna abuse.
We might see Mirror Shield in the first chest, and then we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. Apparently, Samus moves faster with the suit on than with the suit off. Something powered armor. Ooh, nice silver arrow strat from Maligord there.
Nice. Yeah, so you fire the arrow and then dash ahead, and it works. I like it.
Yeah, compass. Full heart. 13 hearts. That's more than enough with red mail.
Key,
There's the
peace
key,
out.
so we can just leave. He's gonna open the chest anyway.
Why not?
Burna always knocks enemies up.
I'm gonna leave that one lying there.
So Maligord has no potions, but he should not have any problems clearing Ganon's tower. So we should probably start the big key guessing game. So we're approaching Trinex, and that's going to go down in no time.
Yeah, pretty soon. Does Burna actually always, propel things upward?
Yeah.
Wow. That explains a lot of my Burna strats. Okay. So, we will start the game just as soon as Trinex dies, I think. It's going to be a pretty quick game, but get ready to put your guesses in for the Ganon's Tower Big Key. That's going to be 1 to 22. Don't do it yet. We're not there yet. And if you are a supporter of the Speed Gaming channels, either through a 250-bit donation or more, or a subscription to any of one of the Speed Gaming channels, you can be entered in our leaderboard. So off we go.
The floodgates have been opened. Look at all the... I see a lot of 7s, which is probably the torch in this case. So chat wants to see it there too.
So my official guess for the purposes of the stream is Bob's chest, because you know.
Of course, but why not Bob's torch?
Eh.
Doesn't have the same ring to it.
Maybe.
So yeah, HiDef's about to get his fire rod from left side swamp, and then off to the back to get his ice rod. He still has to clear Palace of Darkness, but that's not a huge deal.
And that ends the guessing game, so let us begin with the Ganon's Tower checks.
First
Chest number 1 is it!
That is incredible.
We have a big key in chest number 1.
So Maligord has to remember to get a small key, but there is a fixed key under a pot over on the left here, so if he remembers that, no problem. Yep, he's gonna climb the tower. Fastest GT ever.
There's Michelle K with the win there. Congratulations.
Yeah, the seed after that rude hammer placement is having some mercy.
All right, so it is just a mad dash up Ganon's tower from this point.
Silver arrows one-shot everything. Fire rod one-shots basically everything. And plenty of arrows, plenty of magic. This should be a breeze of a climb.
HiDef's gonna get trolled for about 12 seconds.
He gets his ether, he's probably panicking a little bit. It's like, crap, what if Ice Rod's in Misery Mire? And then as soon as he opens this next chest, which he does 16 seconds later, finds that Ice Rod. He is in go mode, though he does not know it yet. He will once he gets up to Turtle Rock.
All right, so that is the... Whoops. That was the second gauntlet room. Moving into the third, we've got Zazax doing their dance.
Probably the easiest of the rooms in the gauntlet.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, this one I hate, especially if I don't have a Tempered Sword. Those red ones can take 2 hits from the Master Sword, and it's just a pain to deal with.
Now, if you do it just right, you can knock the first one into the spike, and that'll kill it.
Mostly just go for a dash, but, you know, I should practice the gauntlet. There's a lot of cool stuff you could do here. So Maligord, using the powder to get his health refilled, that's why he doesn't care about potions. No risk with the powder.
All
3
right.
cycle landmail, 1 hit per phase, not bad. Not great, but not bad. It's really hard to get the arrows timed correctly.
Yeah, especially after you powdered the bunny beam in the previous room. That throws off the timing a little bit.
So Wizrobe rooms, just using the Cane of Samaria to blast them. First one goes down, no problem. Second
This
one's
looks
a
good for
little
the second.
easier, but he makes it look easy.
Yeah. The idea with that one is you want to kind of get up first and drop it to the left. That way you're close enough to reach the top right guy before he disappears.
Even if you only get 3 with your first drop, it's not too bad. You just wait for the last one to respawn and kill it. Getting the Samaria placement's more important than actually getting them all.
Right. And getting trolled by that spike in the middle can, if you're a little slow, can really throw you off.
Ooh, Maligord barely slips in past that door. A bonk almost cost him. Like, there was definitely some hesitation when switching to the fire rod there, wondering if he has the time. Nice hookshot key grab.
Maligord is checking these chests on the way up, perhaps looking for the butter sword, which at this point the checks don't cost you that much time, and I know from experience that butter sword can make up the difference.
Yeah, I think he's probably looking for to find that last bottle, and if that last bottle has like a potion pre-filled in it or a fairy, then that makes his Ganon just a little bit safer.
There's a red boomerang.
Yeah, first boomerang of the run, actually. Alright, Moldorm 2. Immediately gets knocked off. Like, that just happens sometimes.
Trolldorm is just having none of it today.
But yeah, Moldorm will go down to 1 tempered spin and 1 tempered slash, or 2 spins, because, you know, overkill damage. That looks like a spin.
Okay.
Moldorm, you gonna just turn around?
Alright, good. It was a spin. I was afraid it might have been a poke on the first one.
Yeah, I find Berserk Moldworm to be easier to handle on that arena. And the green roofie in the final chest. That is rude.
Just solid items today as we head up Ganon's Tower. Dashing through the final room with the Helmosaurs. That's
And
the true
off to
final
Aganon
boss.
2.
It's time for Geometry Wars with Aghanim 2. Let's see. This should be a thing. 2? That's good.
Yeah, this is one of those fights that it's really hard when you're just starting out. You mostly get singles or if you don't miss entirely, but yeah, the more
Whoa!
practice you get, you just be able to get triples like that. The dream fight is 2 cycles with the pair of triples, which is not even always possible, but 3 cycles is very, very good. And then it's Ganon.
Well done on that last hit there. And Maligord will be heading to the Ganon fight. With the placement of the hammer in this seed and the way it's been going, getting sub 150 in this is insane.
Yeah, I'd say the seed was pretty linear after you found the hammer, and the way it was structured did let you completely skip Misery Mire. But it's still a very well executed seed. Some very nice routes as well.
For a second there, I thought Maligord was actually going to get up in the top right corner.
Yeah, it is super easy to one cycle this phase. It's just 12 slashes, spins count for double to advance the phase. He's going to switch to the cape to make sure he gets it done here. Yeah, that's 12 hits, that's the phase. Phase 3 is just 4 hits from anything.
I like it. Logarithmic Seed. It's a good name.
Yeah, super open and volatile early, and then it just tapered off. Immediate big key in Ganon's Tower. That goes a long way towards lowering the time. Ganon, please.
A little bit of a teleport addiction here. Yeah, I think we found the silver arrows.
Nice torch glitch with the fire rod. The timing on that is trickier than it looks. 2 silvers, 2 to go. Looked like Maligord almost slipped off the edge there, but Ganon goes down.
Well done. Maligord taking down Ganon.
Yeah, he's gonna walk his way into the Triforce room, finishing up right around 147.45. GG to Maligord with a very nice run.
The official time being 147.47, according to the Speed Racing TV channel.
Yeah, and the seed asks, will you be my friend? I think after that hammer placement, probably not. But, you know, with those rods, maybe. Just maybe.
All right, so well played to Maligord. We'll see if Maligord wants to come talk to us.
So HiDef's gonna go do Turtle Rock. He's probably gonna finish it out at this point. He's close enough to the end. And with how that seed played out, he has to know that Ganon's Tower is going to be relatively nice.
Yep. All right, so I think we're going to try to get Maligord in here. And there they are in the setup room, so here we go.
Welcome,
And we are now
Maligord. Congrats
joined.
on the win.
Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Can you hear me? Check, check.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that was an interesting seed.
That was an interesting hammer there.
The hammer, and of course, it was behind Hookshot, deep in Ice Palace.
Deep in pendant ice.
So we had this comment in passing very early on while you guys were checking Mini Moldorm Cave, being like, hey, should we like sequence break Ice Palace right now? Because it would have been theoretically possible at that point to do the bunny revive thing.
Yeah, it was actually
There's
in my
no
mind
way.
when I went into the water to check all the Zora and caves, but then I saw the bow, and that, of course, opens up most of Pod, finishes up Eastern. It also made me mad that I didn't have the hammer for access, so that's another long slog back around to get the bow.
Yeah, that bow was definitely one of those moments that changes the game plan. And it's just, both of you were visibly a little bit thrown by it. You went back and checked. HiDef routed his way over towards there twice, actually.
Yeah, that was a very, very strange situation. We thought we were going to get debated into Aga for a bit there with the cape and all that stuff.
As soon as the mitts turned up, it had to be a pearl for it, pretty much. And that turned up in Tile Room.
Yeah, and of course it's in your head when you get the cape and the lamp and you've got a sword. You know, it's obviously in the logic, but it was basically for the moon pearl, like you said, and really the only place that could be is on Pyramid. And if it was on Pyramid, well, you know, GG to the seed for being a complete jerk. But I was starting to think it might have been Aga, but I never seriously considered it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, as soon as the mitts turned up, like, you have a couple different ways. You're just waiting on the pearl at that point.
Yeah, and I mean, just had to follow the logic, really. You know, you got the mirror, and that opened up Hera. Get into Hera, and there's still an item left, and boom, there it is.
There's the pearl, there's the dark world, clear it out, and there's just your progression as you go around.
So how about that Swamp Palace value for once?
It was interesting in my head while I'm going through Swamp. I found the Fire Rod, and so then my thinking is, well, what's next if the Ice Rod isn't here? Do I gamble Turtle Rock? Do I go back to Swamp? Ice has one item left.
Thieves Town had one item left.
The Thieves Town did have one left, correct? And then I thought,
Ether.
I don't have the medallion for Meyer, and I thought that right as I went into the room where it was. So I was so mad. I'm like, dang it, there's another place.
And then 12 seconds later, oh, never mind.
Yes, I was very happy to see it, and glad to click that little go button for go mode, and off I went.
Yeah.
And I imagine the whole boots in Turtle Rock made that a little easier on your mind as well.
Yeah, at that point, you know, a bootless seed was fine. You know, just took a little time off, but I mean, if that's where they were, then obviously, you know, HiDef wasn't going to have them either until then. So
yeah,
you know, it's not like I was losing time.
I was thinking about the big key in Ganon's Tower. It could have been on Torch.
That's true.
And so that might have been like, oh, well, now I'm actually go mode.
Yeah. But very well played overall. Some really clean boss fights.
I was pretty happy. Sub 150 on this seed seems pretty normal. I think a lot of players would get that, but I think a lot of players wouldn't. So I'm pretty happy. Some decent execution throughout the way too.
Yep. So your opponent is currently in the dark room in Turtle Rock.
He skipped opening Crystal Roller checked, which could force a backtrack. It won't here because the last key is on Laser Bridge. Hopefully he just goes for Laser Bridge.
Did we find gold sword?
On
Catfish.
catfish.
Yeah, and that's another thing that always weighs on my mind. I don't know if, of course, I remember, but in the Key Sanity tournament, I lost a race because of a big key on catfish that I never checked. So, catfish is always on my mind these days.
Yeah, like Capestown Big Check doesn't escape mine. I had a couple. I actually had 2 races in quick succession where I forgot and it had something valuable. So I have not forgotten it since.
Yeah, when those chests cost you something, you always remember them.
Yeah, we thought that when you saw the bow, you might have headed in the big check. You might have gone north side up to Catfish, then Pyramid, then go get the bow, and then route in the other stuff. But that didn't happen.
Well, I had already been north to get, of course, got the flippers and then checked the ledge. So that I didn't really think about when I was over on the ledge. I thought, well, with the flippers, I've got access over there, but I never really thought about going that way.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it turned out to not be that important.
High def in a bit of a scary spot right now. 1 heart. And he
Oof.
did take the safety door, but that is a death, unless there was a fairy bottle, which there was.
I think he actually caught some.
Oh yeah, he did. I remember now. He did catch fairies in that tall room. So good foresight.
And now he's out of magic, so he's going to use the green potion.
Bottles to the rescue. So how about that red mail coming out of Escape?
Always nice to find that red mail. I was more impressed by picking up, was it 4 or 5 300 rupee packs
It
early
was all
on.
5 in the first 20 minutes.
And then I think I found every single big red after that.
Well, the only 100 turned up in Spectacle Rock, and then I think all the 50s turned up as well during the run, so super rich seed.
And, Zora had a bottle, which was not the worst ripoff. So yeah, this was a very interesting seed, and you played it about as well as it could have been played. Your opponent made a couple of calls that you didn't, and that probably cost the race. He checked the first chest in Swamp before going to Ice.
Totally
like
reasonable decision, just didn't happen to be right here.
This was actually one of the first times that I've routed the South Dark World, and I've gotten items so much that it made me backtrack back around.
Oh yeah, we were mentioning
you got the
that.
shovel, you got the powder, and you got my first bottle anyway, all in the South Dark World, and that made me think, go back to Kakariko and Village of Outcasts right then.
Yeah, we were like, that shovel gives him an excuse to go check the magic bat now.
Yeah, it's like, if Hammer was there, that would have been really troll. Not quite as bad as its actual location, but still pretty bad. Oh yeah, and were these sprite selections pre-planned? Because it was Samus versus Zero Suit Samus.
Nope, we never talked about that. I personally love the Samus sprite. I love all 3 skins with the male and everything. I like the Mega Man sprite as well, but there's one thing he does that kind of puts me off, and it's the tongue sticking out when he picks up an item.
Yeah, so briefly we had the same sprite on screen for a bit when you were a bunny in Meyer area. It's kind of hilarious.
Yeah, I thought I was going to be clever, but that didn't work out.
High Def goes into right side Ganon's tower, so he's going to find his big key, And hopefully he remembers he needs a small. Looks like he probably does.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Yeah, he's gonna get it. That's the kind of mistake you make once and then keep in mind for the future. I think most of us have made that mistake at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. So, is there anything else you'd like to say about this seed, or anything else anybody you'd like to say hi to or whatever before we continue following High Def through the end of this?
No, of course, anytime you win a race, you never think the seed was that bad. So I'll watch it back later and see if it was really as interesting as I thought. But thank you guys for the restream. Thanks you guys for the commentary and tracking. Dr. Bob, my personal commentator, I love it.
There you go.
Yeah, thanks for a great race.
You're welcome to hang around or whatever, but we're going to go ahead and follow High Def through the end of this.
He is approaching the combat section of the gauntlet. Yeah, electing to use silver arrows here. I personally prefer using the fire rod to take these enemies down, but whatever you can aim with.
Yeah, I'm used to using silver arrows here because I'm not used to having half magic. And I don't want to have to worry about magic on the way up for the torches.
Makes sense
But
to me.
if I do have half magic, then I will occasionally switch to the fire rod, especially for the skeletons, because they will die immediately to a fire rod shot.
Yeah, I
as
like
opposed to the
the
others.
combination of sword and fire rod. You don't always have the fire rod coming up here, though. You do always have the bow, so maybe I should look into bow strats a little more. Maligord did elect to stock up in Turtle Rock, and he did get another fairy, so another fairy revive.
We may see him powder this bunny beam here in the next room just to fill up.
Yeah,
or
I think he's
perhaps
probably
catch a
going to try and
replacement.
catch it. No, it just takes the refill.
And he's electing to use fire rod strats on Landmo 2. Oh, never mind. Making a liar out of me.
Honestly, with Gold Sword, I have more success just slashing them all twice.
Yeah, so one of the strats I like to do is if I am going to powder that bunny beam, I'll actually wait a little longer in that room. And I have the gold sword. I'll actually wait a little longer in that room, and then that way they'll all spawn at the same time, and I'll stand in the middle and spin all three, and try to hit them from there.
Yeah, I think that works with the Tempered Sword as well.
Yes, but the follow-up slashes don't kill them immediately.
That said, I think there's a way to just spin in the center and have you Link recoil off of the Lenmos in turn and just kill them all in one spin.
Interesting.
Timing on that would be a little trickier, and I might be misremembering, but I swear I've seen someone do that before. It's a solid backup for those whiz robes. That's why you go left instead of right, because the spike block gets in the way otherwise.
All right. So we get through the torch room just fine. He's going to go ahead and wait on the torches to go out and grab that extra magic refill. That way there's no chance of a catastrophic despawn.
And at this point, a despawn would just be so demotivating on trying to finish.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. For me, a despawn here would result in an instant forfeit. Just be like, nope, I'm done.
Yeah, I wouldn't fault anyone who forfeit in that position. Almost forgets to grab the Helmasaur key, but remembers in the last second. Huh. Did both runners have trouble with this bomb toss? I swear they both had it hit the wall and then just not be far enough.
Yeah, the bomb toss is kind of finicky. I mean, there's a setup for it, I'm sure, but it's a little finicky.
Yeah, it's just really surprising just how tricky it is. So this is just a vicious Moldorm too. HiDef also taking a fall here. The gold sword is a slash and a poke that does the job, so don't even need to worry about poking. It
Oof.
gets knocked off again.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but is occasionally the strategy used here to try to do a horizontal dash to get Trolldorm on the first
yes,
hit?
I believe horizontal dashes generally work. Vertical ones have you get hit more often for some reason. You'd have to ask someone more familiar with the actual NMG run. I've picked up what I've picked up from playing and watching mostly, so some things have escaped me.
Oh, Trolldorm is taking none of HiDef's sass today.
Yeah, it's like, you might have a gold sword, but that just means I have to bring my A game here. Whew. Do you think we'll see him bomb the chest?
I mean, I would at this point.
Yeah, it's like, at that point, the race has been decided. You're putting on a show. Bomb the chest. But obviously, sometimes you just want to get it done, so I can't fault not bombing the chest. I would in that case, but, personal preference. But time for Aghanim 2. Again.
All right, let's see how many cycles we can get this done in. This looks pretty good for a double. Oh, that might have been a triple.
I think it was just a double. I think 2 of the hits were close enough that one got canceled. That was another double, though.
Nice.
And as we know, this one's possible to get a triple on, but Aghanim having none of that.
Okay, so we can confirm that the first one was in fact just a double. Oh, and now the nerves are getting to HiDef here.
Yeah, but with the shadows being desynced like this, it can actually be really tricky, and Aghanim just throws a blue ball.
There we go.
Finally gets it done. And away we go to Ganon again.
Yeah, so there are 3 items in Ice Palace, that is true. But today, we only saw one of them. Turned out to be important.
Yeah, hookshot, of all things, in Ice Palace.
Hookshot, which locked the hammer, which was great.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything like that before, but, so many different things Randomizer can throw at you.
Yeah, so Ganon today is sporting the closest we have to the vanilla text.
Yeah, and with the gold sword, with the tempered sword, Maligord needed 12 slashes per phase. HiDef with the gold sword only needs 6.
Sadly, it looks like he just got 5.
Yeah, You can get another slash in before Ganon starts spinning the trident, and it counts. But, you know, he just wanted to play it safe there. The main difference in the two runners here was just efficiency of checks more than anything.
Yeah, there was one move that HiDef made that Maligord didn't, and that was the check into swamp. But other than that, it was just kind of the efficiency with which you did your route.
And as we know, there's a lot of warps here.
And there we go. And yes, we found the silly silver arrows.
No torch glitch, but with silver arrows, that hardly matters.
Yeah, and
Though
especially
if
with
he's
the
not
half
careful,
magic.
that magic might be a problem, despite half magic. Probably won't, but if he takes a fall, it will be. But one more arrow.
And there we go, HiDefLoMein finishing off Ganon. And we're going to walk through the door. We have an official Speed Racing TV time of 2 hours, 11 minutes, and 5 seconds. And it looks like we may have already been joined by HiDefLoMein here in chat. GG, congratulations on finishing.
Thanks for that.
So obviously, how about that hammer?
Oh my God! I haven't been doing too much randomizer, but I've been doing enough that the late hammer still threw me off. Oh wow!
Yeah, that is one of the meanest hammer placements I've ever seen.
And here's the thing: I played like crap on this one. I can't believe I went into Swamp Palace without, knowing that I can't do anything in Swamp Palace, and I still beat my personal best by 20 minutes.
Wow.
Nice. Congrats on the PB.
So I'm pleased with the. Oh, hold on a second. I'm muted in stream. Just a second. Let me fix something.
I mean, your overall execution was pretty good, aside from some of the routing issues with that check into swamp. I mean, when we went in there, we thought you were just checking the first chest to see if the hammer was there.
It can be there. And
Yeah,
so
I wasn't entirely sure there because I thought
Yep.
I thought that first one was supposed to be a key. So
Yeah,
Well,
first test is a
yeah.
fixed
the-
key, but the one you bomb the wall to, that can have the hammer. In
okay,
this case,
so
it was
it
the
wasn't a
map.
complete waste then. Yeah.
No, like hammerless swamp, it's annoying to access, but it boots you out so fast if hammer's not right there.
Yeah. I was totally stoked that I didn't have to finish Ice Palace and didn't have to even touch Mire. So, but yeah, to get both rods in Palace in Pod.
They were both in swamp.
Were they both in Swamp?
Yeah,
Yep.
left
Yeah,
side
that's right,
and
that's
the
right.
waterfall chest.
Oh. So where was the
And
hammer?
Ether. Hammer was in Hookshot Cave.
Okay, all right, yeah. So, well, there's definitely places I could do better, and getting that early Ganon key was I was really pleased to get that time there.
Yeah, it's like everything after the hammer was actually pretty nice. It's like, okay, I put you through so much trouble with this seed, with that hammer. Here you go, have everything else you need in swamp. And oh, no boots, that might be a problem. Turtle Rock, why not?
All right, can you walk me through what happened, or in your brain, when you saw the bow?
I saw the bow and I was like, "Oh, great! I have to get that." And then all of a sudden, I realized I don't have the hammer. I have to come around the long way, which I have not had a lot of practice doing. So at that point, I was like, "Well, I'm going to check what I can elsewhere and try to route it around." But again, by that point, I still didn't have it in my head that I couldn't do my usual route to check that. So. Yeah, I couldn't check it via just south of Link's house, and I couldn't check it via the one south of Eastern. So it's like, yeah, I've got to go all the way back to Thieves Town and then take the long way around. So
At least Flute made getting around to that one portal very convenient.
yeah, that was Flute getting. I got Flute relatively early, and that made up for my second round match where I didn't get Flute till much later in the seed. So, but yeah, not having the hammer, that, wow.
Yeah, one of the things we thought you might do is after finding that bow, flute over to 3 and then take the north route and go by Catfish and Pyramid on the way. But neither runner really did that. But you did go to Catfish, which was nice. You got that butter sword.
Yeah, Catfish was. It's one of those ones that I've learned that when I can get up that direction, I figure, again, since my ability to access the Dark World was kind of restricted at that point because I didn't have the hammer, I figured I'm on this side already. After having made that first dip into Eastern, I might as well, zip up and get Catfish at that.
So speaking of Eastern, we noticed you went to the big key chest after the big chest. Even though the big key and all 3 items had turned up.
I realized that
the item count.
Yeah, it did slip my mind. I realized after I'd gotten the big key chest, after I'd gotten to the big key chest, after I'd gotten the big key, after I got that one, I was like, oh yeah, there really was no point in doing that. I could have saved a minute or so there. So
yeah, both of you elected to just do Eastern before you cleared Pod. Which one thing that was being discussed was potentially trying to put that off until the boots turned up to clear Pod, but obviously you'd want to clear those before Turtle Rock. So kind of didn't end up mattering, but in some seeds, that kind of clearable crystal with no item, putting that off can be faster.
Yeah, I really was waiting to even broach going to, even going to see Turtle Rock until I had something with what, that I could get in there. And finally I just had to go over and check with the hammer, and I was so relieved to see that it was Bombos and I didn't have to go looking for one of the others.
All right, yeah. So I want to hear your thoughts on one more thing. So you're going through Swamp Palace, you've picked up the fire rod, you go into the bottom room and you find the ether medallion. What is going through your head at that point?
Going through my head at that, I wasn't even thinking about the possibility of needing to go into Mire at that point. I was just trying to get through Swamp Palace, and thankfully I didn't have too much time to think on it before the ice rod turned up. And at that point I was like, okay, that's go mode right there. Yeah.
So yeah, we got debated over here for about 12 seconds. Before that happened, and then we're just like, oh yeah, okay.
Or it can just be right there. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, that was on the last chest in the waterfall room, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of, sort of, maybe not go mode, just because the boots could have been required for Ganon's Tower.
I was acting like it was, and then when I got boots off of, who was it?
Chomp.
Was it off of? Oh, the Chain Chomp room. Yeah. Once I got that, I was like, oh, okay. Well, thankfully, I don't have to do that. The check into the rest of the places.
Yeah, generally, what you do if you're missing boots or fire rod or Samaria, something that is sometimes but not always required for Ganon's Tower, is you full clear your crystals. You act mostly like go mode, and you check Ganon's Tower first after your full cleared crystal.
That's basically what I did. That's basically what I was doing. Yeah.
It's like the difference for Turtle Rock is pretty much, let's hit Mimic Cave too.
I was glad I didn't have to dip down in there too. That cave always seems to give me trouble. I haven't gotten the hang of that one yet.
Yeah, only 2 bonks total, and one of them was on the big key door in Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, I noticed that. I'm not sure what the other one was, though. I'll have to go back and watch the VOD, because I'm interested to see...
Oh, I think it was leaving Laser Bridge.
Yes, I think that was right. Yeah.
You actually ended up with a slightly lower collection rate than your opponent.
which I'm very surprised at. It might the in-game timer. That's a PB as well for me. So I'm pleased about that. I mean, I have no delusions that I'm gonna. If I win against anybody in this tournament, I will be pleasantly surprised. But I'm more interested in beating my personal best times, and this was really I'm pleased with this result.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
anytime you can
congrats again
improve
on
that,
the PB.
it's gotta feel pretty good. You know,
It
no
does.
matter what the outcome of the race was.
Yeah, I'm glad to be. My main reason is because I haven't been under 2.5 hours, and the entire time I've been running Randomizer, at least not in terms of official times. So yeah, I'm pleased.
Yeah, that is excellent. It's a pretty solid barrier to break.
And by 20 minutes.
Yeah, now I've got another nice little benchmark to beat as well, 210.
Yeah. All right.
Said
So,
it
is there
was
anything
around the
else you'd like to say about this before we wrap things up here today?
I had a couple early on. I could do a little more with the Samaria opening. I could use a little more practice with that, so I'll probably take a chance on working on that. And the routing was a little better. I think I could. There's definitely some places there I could make that up, but yeah. Otherwise, I felt I was pretty solid. Those couple little routing mishaps notwithstanding.
All right. So, thank you very much for running with us today, and good luck in the next rounds. Now, as far as like the brackets go, it's pretty unlikely that you make it, but I imagine you'll continue running.
Oh yeah, I'll keep running. This is good practice. I never had any delusions that I was going to make it to the brackets, but it's still fun anyway.
All right. So thank you once again to both of our runners, HiDefLoMein and Maligord, and congratulations to both on finishing this wonderful race. I want to give a shout out to our tracker, Michael K, for taking care of us in terms of items tracking, and of course to everyone behind the scenes making this work, and of course to my co-commentator, I have no name. Hey.
Yeah. Nice commentary from you as well, obviously. And thanks to everyone who watched the race. I hope you enjoyed it.
Oh, and a GG to Maligord.
Yes. And with that, I think it's about time to wrap things up here today. If you enjoyed what you saw here, the best way to support those involved is to just give them a follow here, and I'm sure everyone would appreciate that. So with that, I will just say that I have been Dr. Bobtastic.
I have no name.
And we'll see you later.